Send Help is a 2026 American horror thriller film directed by Sam Raimi and stars Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. The plot follows a woman who lives everyone's nightmare when she's forced to survive on an island with her asshole new boss when only the two of them survive a plane crash. The first thing I'll say is I really do think the plot for this movie is just fantastic. As simple as it is, it just opens up, so many crazy possibilities. Also, I'm definitely happy to see, the return of Sam Raimi to the horror genre. I'm not sure I'd ever call this a straight horror movie, like some people are from what I've seen. But I get it. I'm excited too, But as much as I like the concept of the story, I do prefer when Sam Raimi is able to write what he's directing. Me, like being a massive fan of those early Raimi films, you just get used to his writing style, and you do notice when it's missing. That said, I think he was clearly allowed to interject, a fair bit of his own personal style into this movie. I just missed that Raimi-Bill Pope combo of the 80s and 90s. But I did enjoy Drag Me to Hell, and I enjoyed this too. Maybe not as much as some of these YouTube channels that hype up everything that's horror. Like, I tend to be kind of biased, like horror is far and away my favorite genre, but I'm not going to say that, every new horror movie is really, really good. There's a channel I won't name because they seem like really good dudes, but the thumbnail for their review for this movie said, and I quote, "shockingly gross and completely unhinged." I don't know. And then the title is something about how the movie broke their minds. So some people are, in my opinion, really overhyping this movie. Also, why does it seem like every new horror movie have like a 90+% on Rotten Tomatoes? Okay, I'm actually done being negative now because I did like this movie. So I guess the question is Sam Raimi back? Let's take a look. If you saw the trailer. Yeah, I mean, there isn't a lot else to know about the setup to this movie. So you got Linda Little. She's our lead here, played by, I guess one of our leads, played by veteran actress Rachel McAdams. And if you watch many American movies in the early 2000s, you know her. She was everywhere back then. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I'd seen her in the last, decade or so. But it's good to see her again, and she's good here. I'm also reminded of Sam Raimi's last horror film, Drag Me to Hell, from 2009. With the female lead, which I think is great. We need more girl power horror movies. So yeah, Linda is a corporate strategist at her job. She's been lined up for a promotion, and you don't ever get to see him, but her former boss is played by Bruce Campbell. You know this because you see a photo, like a framed portrait of him, and it couldn't have made me happier. I mean, every Raimi film needs a Bruce Campbell cameo. It's tradition. We all know this. So the new boss is the boss's son, played by Dylan O'Brien. His name is Bradley, and he is a major douchebag. He'd already planned on giving, the job that Linda was supposed to get to some asshole frat boy college buddy. And Linda's awkward. She's kind of weird, and Bradley's an asshole, so he doesn't like her at all. Linda gets a chance to prove herself by going with him on a business trip. Again, you pretty much literally see all of that in the trailer, including the plane crash scene that kills everyone except for Linda and Bradley. It's a pretty fun scene too. Very much something I could see in a good thriller movie, but a little darker with some horror touches. And now, just beginning the second act or so, it's just Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien for literally the majority of the next hour and a half. And I didn't really think about that at the time while I was watching this, but I was totally fine with that. Normally, I do prefer bigger casts, so I think that kind of says everything I can say about the two leads. So Bradley's leg is hurt from the crash, so he's he's actually kind of hobbled for a good amount of time. Maybe it's got to be almost a third of this movie, which a lot of people have pointed out Misery as a possible influence here, and they very well might be right. They probably are, but I didn't really feel it. I'm trying to think back to real time. I think I think Misery did cross my mind, but just for a second, and then it left because in Misery, Annie has a level of affection for Paul. Here, Linda has no love for Bradley. She doesn't like him. She barely knows him, and she just knows that he's an epic level fuckface. That said, she does take care of him, something that he wouldn't have done for her. So, she's the only reason that he survived that crash. And a lot of people are calling this a survival horror film. And again, I get that. It's probably what it is. I just don't really consider it that all that much because Bradley and Linda they're never really in danger. Or rarely. And why? You might be wondering. Well, Linda has crazy good survival skills because coincidentally, this is just like totally her thing. She's read books and she's got a YouTube channel, and that might sound like crazy plot armor, and you could make a strong argument that it is, but to me it's not, because it's actually a smarter script than I expected. There's a number of twists and turns here that, in my opinion, worked really well. Maybe you will see some of this stuff coming, but again, I really do think the writing is solid. Who is truly the bad guy, right? I love that kind of thing, but I'll leave it there so I don't spoil anything, of course. This movie was a lot of fun, and I think I've appreciated it even more after thinking over it for a couple of days, because to be honest, I was at first, like, walking out of the theater, I was kind of lukewarm, and it's not because I didn't like it, because I did have a lot of fun, but I think, upon my initial reaction, I never trust my initial reactions. There's reasons why I don't do like some channels do like out of the theater reactions. I don't do those because I don't think mine are usually all that accurate to the way I feel maybe a day or two or a week later. So like I said, though Raimi didn't write this, there are still plenty of Raimi-isms throughout. So I don't know if it was written with him in mind that he'd be directing, or if he was just able to, inject his style into things just kind of overall. So I guess if you were to ask me, is Sam Raimi back? I'd say on a directing level, I'd say yeah. But, his semi-cartoonish kind of absurd directing style is on display here. I think you'll be happy to hear. In a way that even though the script is really cool, a different director could have fumbled this. So yeah, Raimi's back, and he's still got it. Is this a chaotic, bloody mess like we might expect? Not exactly, but that's okay. Again, small cast, so you couldn't do like a high body count or anything like that, but there is some carnage, and Sam even made a CGI boar scene bearable by making it gross and slimy and silly, very Raimi-esque, and I mean overall this movie is really funny. I mean, I was laughing, I chuckled quite a few times, but really though, let's stop with the CGI animals, unless you're Sam Raimi, which you'll never be. I'd never seen Dylan O'Brien before, I don't think, at least not that I can remember, but he was absolutely perfect for playing this, like, rich, entitled frat boy. He's good here, and it was cool to see Rachel McAdams again, like I said, and she was fucking awesome, and, she brings to life this complex character really well. The Danny Elfman score is actually killer, too, and totally front and center the whole time. I mean, it's just bombastic, and the individual piece is very scene by scene, so, like, every scene, his musical piece just fits that scene perfectly, and like different styles of music too. There's like ambient pieces. It's crazy. I can't wait to buy the soundtrack just to sit down and listen to it. So I'm giving Send Help 3 out of 4 stars. It was a fun ride. It's always great to have more Sam Raimi, and for a late January or early February or whatever release like this, you could do a lot worse. That said, going off some reviews I've seen, I would say that it's a little bit overrated to me. Definitely check it out, though. In one way or another, I think you will like it. And if this is the beginning of a return to horror, from Sam Raimi, I do hope we get something, from him that he wrote again, maybe someday. But if not, I'd be totally down, for seeing him direct more projects like this, or another original property thing like Drag Me to Hell. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you at the multiplex.
Subscribe right now, please.